And and I moved out here 4.5 years ago, and from Ohio, the Bucks.
Hey.
And even though they've done really badly the last couple of years, it's okay. And we just crossed paths, I mean, all the time. It was, you know, have you been to this group? Oh my God, I was just there yesterday. You know, where we knew a lot of people in common. And then we took the CFP together this past summer. And so we just kind of almost networked together, but we're really competitors. So it really has turned out very interesting.
We seem to be focused in the same areas where we want to do education, and that's one of the differences where a lot of brokers are out there to sell you, sell you insurance, sell you this, sell you that. We really believe that we're going to be doing this for a long time, and that in the short term we should be focusing on education and making sure that people are doing the right thing, not just making a sale.
What's really cool about that, in my mind, is that I'm being into the law of abundance myself and not worrying about competition. There's more than enough business to go around for all of us, and when it's really neat that I'm finding through my professional travels, it's quite a rare mindset. Everybody's got lag thinking, and they're all like this. And you guys come in, competitors, but
well, and it's I think when you're talking about people's money, it's really a relationship that you start to have with people, and it's not always rosy. And there's times where you're not yelling at your client, but you're saying, I really disagree with what you're doing, and sometimes you kind of get in arguments, and so it's a relationship that you really kind of have to foster, and kind of like your family, that you can kind of argue a little bit, but then everything's going to be okay in the end. And we really we like our clients and want them for the long haul and that kind of stuff.
And we need to have someone. You need, and this is, I think, a lesson for all of us. You need to have someone in your industry that you can talk to.
Yeah.
That it's not a silo. I mean, I'm in an office with 50 other advisors, but it's important that I have relationships with the other advisors because we share the same issues and we share the same problems.
Well, and to that point as well, it's when you work for like a big firm, like a Merrill or a UBS or something like that, that everybody's got their point of view on the market.
Right.
But when you have folks, independents, and folks outside of your firm that aren't necessarily, using the same asset allocation strategies, you get a wider perspective.
Yeah. And it's nice that we talk to each other because, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And sometimes you think that you're crazy and that you're just out there doing this really, because you never know. Financial planning, and I think this is what's really hard for clients as well as us, it's not a sure thing. I mean, it's never like this is exactly how things are going to happen, and this is, it's always, there's a, 75% probability that this is going to happen and we're going to cover this. And so sometimes you think you're crazy for thinking something or for worried about something or whatever it is, and so it's nice to have another person saying, am I crazy for thinking this? Well, no, I was thinking the same thing. So it's nice to have that. So
no one person is smarter than a group of people. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, no.
Well, not even me. Okay. I know. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
So we came up with a few topics, and you guys asked questions that were pretty much on topic, so that's perfect. We like to think that we know our audience. I think we did an okay job, but a couple of the initial things that we should cover that are some of the first steps of financial planning would be emergency savings, which is kind of the baseline of financial planning, and then setting goals for yourself. Do you want to start?
Yeah, you want me to start with that, or do you want to start with credit?
Should we cover that? Yeah, because that's all kind of part of it. Fine,
okay.
Sure.
I guess it doesn't matter. I guess we'll start with emergency savings or goals. Goals. That's
goals
the first
is
thing
kind of
to
the first
the first thing in financial planning, a lot of people are out there and they say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I'm going, everybody feels lost, that they don't really feel like they have a cohesive plan. And it's like anything else in your life with work. Right. I mean, don't you sit down and say, this is kind of what I want to accomplish, this is where I want it to go. And I think with your financial life, you're not going to go anywhere, you're going to be all over the board if you don't set goals and at least sit down and say, I kind of like to retire, at least just pick an age right now. 60, okay, fine, or 55, people our age say 50. 40. Yeah, they're always like, I want to retire at 50. I'm like, okay, well, we better get saving then, you know, and then but they don't really put the numbers to the age, you know, of how much they'd have to save now in order to do that. So it's very important to set the goals of what you would like to accomplish, and the plan can always change. I mean, every time that we do a plan, it's only good for that day. So, you know, that's what I always say. I never even print them out. I just keep them on my computer because I know that everything's going to change after that day.
And related to goals, they're not, you know, you've got your long-term goals, you've also got the goals of, gee, I'd like to pay off my student loans. You know, wow, I'd like a new car because I just got hit by someone. I would, you know, you've got the short-term, and just, it's like you need to get out a piece of paper and say, okay, boy, I'd like to clean up my financial stuff, and what kinds of things, what does that mean? I'd like to pay down that credit card. I'd like to restructure how I'm paying things. I mean, I've got, you know, $700 a month to be paying towards things. Where should it go? You know, how do I decide what's first? So it's, the first thing is making a list of all those things, and then from there you have to determine how much do things cost me. I mean, what are my rates? What are my, you know, how long do I have to pay these things off? And you end up prioritizing based on rate or based on cash flow needs. So if you've got something like your car, if you've got a 3-year payment left on a car, you know that payment at some point is going to end. And if that car rate is 6.5% versus 12% or 22% that you're paying on a credit card, you know, the money you're losing by paying interest on a credit card is typically more extreme than interest on a car or on a home or some other things. So determining what your goals and your priorities are is kind of step one. And we talked about this when we were kind of preparing for this today. How do you decide when to start investing? You know, well, geez, retirement's one of my goals too, but how do I fight that over paying this 18% credit card down? And we both believe this, and you'll get different answers from different advisors on this topic, but we think you have to be saving at the same time as paying things down. Because if you wait and you say, I'm going to clean up all my credit before I start saving, and you're 35 instead of 25, by the time you start, you've lost 10 years of compounding. Your 10 years of money growing on top of money. You've got to have a plan to do both at the same time.
And it's important to realize that that paying off some of that and saving at the same time is important, because you have to, the credit card debt is going to come again if you have not started saving. So if you're not saving as well as paying down your debt, then something else is going to happen, something with your car, something with the trip, you know, whatever it is, things happen, life happens, then you're not going to have any cash saved up to do anything. And on the retirement side, you have to keep in mind that you're only allowed to put a certain amount in every single year. So it's not like you're going to all of a sudden start making all this money and be able to put away as much as you want. They limit how much you can put away. And so you want to take advantage of that, because you only have, you know, you're only 25 or 26 once, and you know, that only comes around one time, and you're only allowed to put so much away every single year. So that's another thought to keep in mind with that.